Hello there, my name is Jonah, and welcome to the channel. This is the first video on this channel, if you can't tell, at least photography related. I don't even remember what I have on here. I think I have a driving video that I did on like Race Room, or Live for Speed, or another racing sim. But that's the past. Here's the new content. As you just heard, my name is Jonah. I'm a photographer based out of the greater Rochester area here in New York. Please do excuse that monitor having a bit of a stroke at the moment. It just does that, and you know what? We're going to shut it off. Today's review is going to be of the Canon 1DS Mark III, released in November of 2007. And if you want to feel old, now that you heard the year 2007, this camera is a month younger than I am, and I just graduated high school. So this camera, for its age, is in impeccable condition. I assume many others like it are the same way. This is a roughly 22 megapixel camera with 45 autofocusing points, and it's a beast. A damn good beast for being 18 years old. Shown here are a couple example images that I got at the 2026 Geneseo Air Show for your viewing pleasure, to show, why I call it a beast. Fucking nail. Floor. Most of these images were captured with lenses that don't even show its full potential, such as the 17 to 30 or 75, Jesus Christ, 75 to 300 f4 to 5.6 EF mount, obviously, and the 35 to 80 f4 to 5.6 kit lens released with the EOS Rebel G back in the early to mid 1990s. So these are two old lenses on an old camera that aren't even top of the line. These are more like consumer grade. Like Meemaw and Pawpaw wanted to go get photos of the soccer game up close. They didn't want to get close to the field, but they wanted that extra range for an affordable price. Ergonomically, this camera is great. It's got a big old honking grip, vertical and horizontal. And it's got a bit of substantial weight to it. So it feels great in the hands, and is great for my hands at least. Your case may be different. Your hands, you might be someone who's 5'4", 5'6" with smaller hands. That would fit something like my EOS M6 Mark II compared to, this thing, where I would like bear pawing it right now. Now let's get back to some of those technical specifications I ran through earlier. It's a 23 megapixel sensor. It's got 45 autofocusing points. It's got dual card slots, one being compact flash type 1 and 2 compatible, and SD cards. Now, here's a major caveat to both of those. The compact flash cards are only up to 128 gigabytes, and looking at a 128 gig SanDisk card on B&H Photo right now is looking at about like 150, 200 bucks for 128 gigs. And the SD cards are limited to only 32 gigs. You're only getting about 1,200 RAWs out of that. But it's RAW and JPEG. You can mix and match for each card slot. You can record one and then the other. So you can expand it to about, what's the math run to that? That is 32, 120, 50, about 160 gigs worth of photos. Give or take a couple of megs for after you format it, because it takes up, the file system takes up a little bit of space. Yeah. It's got 3 and 5 FPS burst modes, so 3 frames per second, 5 frames per second. Max. This isn't a sports camera. It's a wildlife camera and landscape camera. That's what Canon, showed it to the world as. You had the option for a 1DX if you shoot sports. I just got this because it was on the shelf at my local camera store / film lab, Scott's Photo. Love you guys. A couple other neat technical features or stuff that I find neat about this camera is it can take LPE4Ns, but also take LPE19s. So you can get bigger, better, and new batteries for this 18-year-old body, which is pretty impressive lifespan wise. You can't even get a new battery for an iPhone without opening the thing up. You can't get a battery for original iPhone without looking at used options or sketchy Chinese ones. And with these batteries, you can get them first party. Granted for like $150, but you can get new batteries. This doesn't record video, so if you're wanting video functionality, you're SOL. But again, this camera's from 2007. You're probably looking at other options from that era, camcorders, broadcast rigs, etc. It's got 2 main autofocus modes, servo and 1 shot. That's about it. Its autofocusing honestly did pretty good. As you see, I'll show a couple more photos from the air show right now. I can't complain. If I miss focus, it's either a skill issue or I wasn't keeping it in its circle of autofocusing points. Who do I think this camera's for? With it being around $300 to $700, I see this as someone who's invested in the EF mount already, and they're looking for their next step. They still want a DSLR, so that then they can, I don't know, maybe weight's a consideration for them. Or, you're more of a wildlife person and you just want an easy, I can get this now. It's typically around $300-500. I want a full frame option. This is the camera for you. Now, granted, there are better options out there, better deals that I've seen out there. For example, I've seen a Z6 II on KEH for $680, $670. US, obviously, because I'm based in America. And you can get adapters to the Nikon system. But I will give Canon one thing, and that is they have continuously kept their menu system practically the same. The menu system that is on this camera is on my M6 Mark II. The same system that's on this is on my EOS 90D. The same system that's on this, I see, is on the EOS R1. So if you are someone who's really particular about familiarity and being able to jump from camera to camera, then this is a good option. It's also great as a shelf or a studio camera because you have the option to have an AC adapter to replace the battery here. And if you just want a camera to scan negatives or take headshots, or you're more of a studio person that's looking for a cheap backup option that can take your older EF glass that you have kicking around that you'll occasionally use with like a film camera or something, then yeah, great option. My final thoughts here is for how great this camera is and how good of a value it can be, depending on what you do, if you're an action shooter, listen to me, or listen up, because I'm one too. I would look for better options. If you're not an action shooter and you don't mind the weight or the size of an older DSLR, Pro DSLR body, then absolutely, you know, if you're looking to spend $500 on a first camera and you don't mind the storage limitations, then one hell of a steal. But there's also better options. I think that's anything in the used market. You're looking at used cars. You know, this is I'll use a Golf GTI as an example. I don't have one. Neighbor across the street does. Looks like a great car. There are better options on the used market that you can get for the same price as a Golf GTI, like a Maserati. However, that Maserati will be a lot more difficult to live with than the Golf GTI. And this is the Maserati. Granted, it's a Canon. The only problem I've had with a Canon camera is a Canon camera that came out in the 70s or early 80s. So, take with that what you will. But I think you've had enough of my incoherent rambling. Thank you for watching, and thank you for watching all the way through. If you've made it this far, seriously, you done good. I'm a bit of a rambler, if you can't tell, and this is my first video. So, hopefully here soon I'll have some more content for y'all. It's gonna be a little bit of a wait, depending on how my schedule goes. I do have a full-time job, so that kind of takes priority, obviously, but maybe here soon I'll do some lens reviews of stuff that I've had that no longer works, or lenses that I currently use on a pretty regular basis, or even a couple of the cameras that I have in my fleet. So, if you want a lens review, drop that down below. If you want a camera review, drop that down in the comment section below. And always remember to like and subscribe, and drop the bell to see whenever new videos come out. I'm looking here at once every other week, just to stay consistent. And hopefully the rest of the summer will bring me some good photos. You know, there are certainly some events coming up in September and October that I think you might want to keep your eyes out, especially if you're in New York State. I'll be talking about those next video. I hope y'all have a good rest of your morning, afternoon, or evening. I hope if you had a meal with us, you enjoyed your meal. Y'all have a good one.